consistently always happens, right? You're
Yeah.
in and a coach is looking to solve a problem and he makes an adjustment. But too many people think it confirms their narrative about Josh Giddey. Too many people think that a lot of people are turning on Coach D,
Sure.
saying that he made the mistake doing that. Like, we got to understand fundamentally in a playoff series, these types of things happen.
Sure.
And this is not indicative of the rest of the season. And we just have
No.
to have a big perspective of this and understand what's happening right now is coach is digging as deep as he can to find a solution to the Mavericks defense. And if he had won the game, he's a genius. And then if he doesn't, then it backfired.
Sure.
But let's not make it something that it's not. You know what I mean?
I agree. I think that one of the things that we get lost in translation a lot, especially with being a super fan, you and I are, we like to fall in love with this team. We like to see the players that play stay, and we don't like to see when people are throwing them up in trades. We don't like to see them when they're saying bench this player, bench that player, because the reality is that if coach is going to bench a player, not start him, there's a reason for that. All right. And whether or not we think our reasons are proper and right, they're not, and I just want to say is like, I really appreciate guys like Sammy Dog and Unk and Sabbath and so many other amazing guys out there that are always constantly positive about this team. It's everything. When everybody is out there saying trade this player, bench this player, do that stuff, it's bullshit, man. Like this is Oklahoma City Thunder team. We should not be throwing them under the bus any opportunity that we get. Like it's a whole thing with Josh Giddey, the whole thing that happened halfway through the season, and all this rumors start going around. So many fans from Oklahoma City just threw Josh under the bus without giving him a chance, without understanding the big picture. And that's the same situation we're in right now. There's so many people are throwing Josh under the bus without understanding the big picture, without understanding that there's more to this than just putting a player on the bench and not playing him as much. There's more. So for us as super fans, we have to sit back and enjoy it. And everybody that is talking that type of shit, guys, just chill out. Like this is part of the game. Coach is a young coach and he's learning how to coach in tight situations. Is he going to make the right decision every single time? No. But neither is Jason Kidd, who's been a coach for the last 10 years. So everybody's going to make mistakes. It just sucks when everybody puts those mistakes on fleek and everybody decides to pick on them when they should not be picking on them.
So let's talk about what we have to do to make adjustments. You would think that by the tone of everybody out there that we've already been eliminated from the series. And we saw what happened with the Cavs. We don't want to be like that, where they turn on each other immediately as soon as the series is over. And we saw what the Wolves did, and they came out and made a statement game 6 that really put the pressure back on the Nuggets. Like, that's what we want to do right here. So
Sure.
What does Coach D have to do to solve the Mavericks defense?
All right, this is simple, bro. You ready for this? We're going to call it the 20-20-30.
2020. All right.
All right. 20-20-30 is 20-20-20-30 is J-Dub, Chet, and my brain just went blank.
Anybody, dude.
Anybody
else. One of the other guys.
Dort. How about this? We'll put Dort there because when Dort shoots well, we do really well. So 20 points we have to get 60 points from those three guys. And then Shea's 30. Like that's it. Like we don't need to do much more than that. We just need to play the game that we know how to. The ball is finding the open man. You saw what happened when, Giddey wasn't in the game in the beginning of the game. Like the offense was finding the open shots. Like we were finding everybody open. We just weren't hitting them. And then coach started going to the rotation, trying to find somebody to hit a three. 10 for 40, I think, is what we shot from 3-point range. That shows you that we got the shots wide open. We just couldn't hit them. And I think that's what we got to go back to is the basics, is just getting back to our shot, slowing down and realizing that whether Josh is in the game or not, we spread the ball out. It makes it really difficult to guard us. All we got to do is hit those basic shots. It's hard. It's the playoffs.
If you're a coach, do you tinker with the starting lineup again and maybe go Casey Wallace or go back to Josh or stick with Isaiah Joe, or do you look somewhere else to make the change?
I liked how Isaiah Joe made that team look. But I'll be honest with you is that I'm on that fence between Casey Wallace and Josh Giddey. Like I think you could start either one of them. I think it depends on if you're going out there to play more of a defensive minded set, because Isaiah Joe, he's a great player, but sometimes he gets lost in that defense. So Casey Wallace never gets lost in the defense. So to me, it's just about Casey plays better at Dallas, right? So he has some pretty big games in Dallas. So I would say this if you're not going to start Josh, put Casey out on the floor because it's his hometown. Let him do what he do.
I like it. I also think maybe Jay will. If you're gonna tinker with it, maybe looking to go there a little bit, because I like what he brings out on the court. I do think we need to give Josh a lot of credit because he stayed ready, and when his number was called, he went out there and he played really some of the best minutes he played this series. Yeah. That's really important because, like, I think the reason they moved him to the bench was because they realized his best minutes were coming when he was coming off the bench. So they were like, well, let's see how he handles it.
That and coach could control the mismatch instead of the other way around.
Right. And also the need to find a solution for what the Mavericks are doing on defense, because it's incredibly effective. It's the most effective defense that we've seen all year. And in a series like this, you have to be willing to try things. And some of those things aren't going to work. And every single time they don't work, people will criticize you. And when they work, you'll be called a genius. So I'm fine. But Dave, you sent me a message and it really fired me up. And this is what we got to keep in mind right now, man. You said death ground.
Death ground.
Explain it, bro.
All right. Basically, my daughter's therapist has been asking me to read Sun Tzu in a way that I'm not used to.
Cool.
She said that I should read Sun Tzu in a way that I look at protecting my family, and Sun Tzu as somebody that is just talking about life, right? And if we take the applications of what we see in life when we present them to the book and what Sun Tzu is saying, it's pretty powerful. So death ground is the type of ground that you put your troops in that's smaller force against a cliff, against a sheer cliff, against whatever, something that there's no way of escaping. And then those guys recognize that there's no way of escaping. There's no way of doing. So only way to win is going through the enemy. And on the same sense is that if you are surrounding the enemy, right, and you're going to kill the enemy, you always leave them an exit, a place that they can retreat to, because people will give up when they have an opportunity to. When the time gets going and the tough stuff gets going and it's very difficult to see and breathe, people change everything. And I look at the adversity that Kyrie's had to go through, and the adversity that Luka's got to go has been having to go through the series on the defense when they're playing offense. And listen, this is not normal. Luka does not like this. Anybody that's watching this is like, damn, dude, this team is insane. The way that this team is playing, the way that they're moving around and understanding the game, it's truly spectacular. And I understand what you're saying, Hotspot. This is not a three-point shooting team, but that's where I disagree with you 110%. This is a three-point shooting team because we play our best when we're hitting 40% from threes. And if we're shooting 40% from threes, then we're going to take 30 threes in the game. That is important, guys. It's important because this game that we have, you have to have Chet shooting 3 or 4 threes in the game because it opens everything up. It creates a mismatch. They can't all of a sudden put a traditional big man on Chet if he's going to open up the floor. It's the same thing that we're going through with this team right now, is that you put this team against the back, against the wall, and you put the force of the other enemy in front of you. This team knows that they have to cut through in order to survive. And I think that's what we're going to see tonight. Is I think we're going to see an incredible execution of the offensive game, the defensive game, and Coach D is going to get these guys playing at a very high level. And that's what I'm excited about tonight.
So it's gonna be tomorrow night, actually, Saturday.
Tomorrow night. My bad.
Yeah, it's all good, dude. But yeah, I mean that's what is kind of disappointing me so much about all these fans who are like turning on the team or like saying like these absolute things. Is the fact is like we wanted to go through adversity because we knew that this team would improve if they faced the right type of adversity. They could stack those wins and turn themselves into a much better team from doing that. So coming into the playoffs, we knew that that's what we wanted. That's what we focused on. We wanted the smoke. We wanted all of it. We wanted the adversity. And then we get into it, and then the fans are like, oh no, it's over. It's not over.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, Josh is done. He's not done. Oh no,
Mm-hmm.
coach sucks. He doesn't suck. Guys, this is none of those things. It's a 7-game playoff series.
That's
and when
it.
you're in the playoffs, you have to be making different types of adjustments. Some of those adjustments are going to mean your favorite player doesn't get the same minutes, the same shots, the same whatever, but it doesn't mean all the bad shit in the world combined. What it really means is we're down 3-2. And if we were up 3-2, it would be Dallas who was turning on each other, right?
Sure.
We just can't dip to that bullshit. We have to rise above it and recognize that we have a team that's built for now. It's built for the future. So we just have to stick with it. And we have to learn what we can about this team and understand that there's still improvement. But this series is not fucking over. We make it a game 7 going back to Oklahoma City, dude. I think we have the advantage. We need one win to switch it back to where we have the advantage. This is not over.
No. And real quickly, hotspot, man, I don't know what game you're watching. I don't know if we're even cheering for the same team. Because for you to say Chet isn't a 3-point shooter, like that's probably one of the most delusional things I've heard a Thunder fan say. He shot 37% from 3-point range his rookie year, meaning that would be an easy tick up to 40% from 3-point range. Chet's game is all about the 3-point range, bringing his guy out to 3-point range, pump faking him because he knows he's going to hit that shot and go from there. So I would highly recommend before you make statements like that, hotspot, just to go ahead and look at the stats, look at the shit that's going on and what Coach D wants him to do, because I don't know, man, the statement like that is kind of weird.
I will say this, though. Dallas has been able to take away our rhythm on shooting threes.
Sure.
You have to give them credit, and you can't just look at our 3-point shooting percentage and say we
have
to shoot better.
Yeah.
We have to shoot shots more in rhythm, and we need better ball movement, and there's plenty of ways to do that, but the solution isn't there yet.
Yeah.
I do think that game 6 will be the game that we crack the Mavs defense.
Sure.
I mean, we haven't done it yet, but I wouldn't say that it's so good that it's invincible. It's just that we haven't done it yet. And now, like you said, our backs are against the wall, and it's time for us to figure it out. And my guess is we're going to figure it out game 6. So we shouldn't be turning on each other. We shouldn't be making absolute statements about this team does or doesn't have a set of skills or can or can't do this. Like, leave that to the other teams like the Cavs. Like, honestly, that's beneath
the Knicks.
Like, that's beneath us. We don't do that, right?
We're positive, guys.
We're positive. I know one thing, dude. If the Thunder win or if they lose, there will be fans at the airport when they come home.
100.
That's how we need to act. Like, people stop doing this bullshit. We're above it, okay? I got to get the fuck out of here, dude. I'm sorry to be so preachy, but Dave, you know how much this means to us, bro. This is really important.
All right, man. By the way, hotspot, you can't be positive and a realist and talk shit about the players. That doesn't work. Got to get back to the basics, bro. We love you guys. We'll talk to you soon.